You couldn't live with your own failure. And where did that bring you? Back to me. I know what it's like to lose, to feel so desperately that you're right, yet to fail nonetheless. It's frightening, isn't it? That sickening feeling that crawls under your skin, makes your stomach churn, turns your legs to jelly. You thought you had it all figured out, didn't you? Had your plans, your convictions. But the truth is, you were never in control. You never had a chance. And now you're here, face to face with what you tried to run from. You thought you could outsmart the inevitable, that somehow you could cheat destiny. Foolish. The truth is you weren't ready. None of you were. I ask you, to what end? What were you fighting for? Glory, power, redemption. None of it matters. Dread it. Run from it. Destiny arrives all the same. And now it's here, or should I say I am. Failure. It's not something you can run from. It haunts you like a shadow that never fades. You hide behind your victories, thinking you're invincible. But deep down you know. You know you're only a step away from losing it all. That fear grips you, tightens around your throat. It's the weight of your choices, the weight of every mistake you've made. You think you're strong. Strength isn't measured by how much you can lift or how hard you can hit. No, strength is endurance. Strength is waking up every day and staring down that failure, knowing it's waiting to break you. It's knowing that every step forward could be the one that sends you spiraling backward. But you keep moving, don't you? Not because you believe you'll win, but because what else can you do? I'm not here to give you false hope. I'm not here to tell you that everything's going to be all right, because it won't be. Life doesn't work that way. Life is brutal, unforgiving. It will kick you when you're down and laugh while you bleed. And guess what? It doesn't care. The universe doesn't care. You're just a speck, fighting against forces beyond your comprehension. But here's the truth you need to hear. Losing, failing, it's not the end. No, it's just the beginning. Every failure is a lesson, every defeat is a new path. But you have to be willing to accept it. You have to face it head on. Most of you try to hide from it. Bury it deep. Pretend it never happened. That's why you're weak. That's why you'll always come back to me. But those who embrace their failure, those who understand its power, they are the ones who grow. They are the ones who rise from the ashes, stronger, wiser, more dangerous than before. I've seen worlds crumble. I've witnessed civilizations burn. And through it all, I've stood firm. Not because I'm stronger than anyone else, but because I know something they never did. The universe demands balance. And balance is achieved through sacrifice. I sacrificed everything, my world, my people, my soul. And yet here I stand. You call me a monster. You think me cruel. But I've simply done what was necessary. Because that's what strength is. Strength is doing what must be done even when it breaks you. Especially when it breaks you. You want to rise. You want to succeed where you failed before. Then learn to let go. Let go of your ego, your pride, your illusions of control. Accept that you are nothing, that the universe owes you nothing. Only then will you find the clarity to move forward. Only then will you understand what it takes to truly win. Loss, pain, they're constants. They will follow you wherever you go. But it's how you respond that defines you. You can break under the weight, or you can use it to become something more, something unstoppable. I didn't become who I am because I avoided pain. I became who I am because I embraced it, because I understood that pain is the fire that forges strength. Failure is the hammer that shapes you. The question is, will you shatter, or will you become something greater? Most of you will fall. Most of you won't make it. That's the cold, hard truth, but those few, those rare few who rise above their failure, who push past the pain, they will achieve something far beyond what you can imagine. They will find a purpose, a strength that cannot be broken. But first, you must face the inevitable. You must face me. And when you do, remember this. I am not your enemy. I am your reality. I know you're waiting for me to tell you it gets better. Waiting for that moment where I tell you that everything you've been through was worth it. But why should I lie to you? Why should I give you false hope when all you've known is struggle? The truth is, it doesn't get easier. There's no happy ending waiting for you just because you worked hard or suffered long enough. The universe doesn't reward effort. It rewards results. You think your suffering is unique? You think you're the only one who's been broken? The only one who's felt like they've hit rock bottom? Look around. Everyone's been there. Everyone's struggled, lost, failed. That's not special. What matters is what you do after. How do you rise from the ashes when you've been turned to dust? I lost my world. I watched it die slowly, painfully. I warned them, I fought for them. I sacrificed for them. And still, they perished. Gone. Just like that. And you know what? There was no one to blame but themselves. No villain hiding in the shadows. No evil force pulling the strings. They simply couldn't accept the truth. They couldn't accept that to survive, something had to be lost. They failed, and that failure consumed them. But I learned I didn't run from the lesson. I embraced it. I took their failure and made it my strength. Because that's what true power is. Not the ability to dominate others. Not the ability to destroy. True power is knowing when to let go of what's holding you back, even if it's the thing you love most. You think you're holding on to something important, something worth fighting for. Maybe you are. But ask yourself, are you holding on because it's right, or because you're too afraid to let go? Too afraid to face the void that comes after? Fear. That's what it comes down to, doesn't it? That's why you couldn't live with your failure. Because you feared what it said about you. You feared that it defined you. That all your strength, all your hard work amounted to nothing, that you were nothing. I've been there. I've felt that cold fear creeping into my bones, whispering lies in my ear, telling me that I wasn't enough, that I wasn't strong enough to do what needed to be done. But you know what? I faced that fear. I let it burn through me, strip me down to my core. And when the flames died down, I was still standing, stronger, unbreakable. You're still running, still hiding from that truth, but it's time you stopped. It's time you faced it head on. You think you know suffering? You think you've been pushed to your limit? You haven't even scratched the surface. The real suffering is yet to come. Because when you finally stop running, when you finally confront that failure, it will break you. It will strip away everything you thought made you who you are. It will leave you with nothing but the raw, painful truth of your own insignificance. And that's when you'll have a choice. You can let that truth destroy you. Let it crush you under its weight. Or you can rise from it. You can become something more, something unstoppable. But understand that you won't come out of it the same. You'll lose pieces of yourself along the way. You'll lose things you thought were important. But that's the price of real strength. That's the price of evolution. You want to succeed. You want to find power in a world that's constantly trying to tear you down. Then you have to be willing to lose, willing to fail, willing to let go of everything that you thought mattered. That's what I did. I sacrificed everything, my people, my home, my soul. And for what? For balance, for the truth that no one else was willing to accept. The universe is finite, its resources are finite. Life is chaos, and chaos needs order. I brought that order. I brought balance. And in doing so, I lost everything I held dear. But I became more. I became the embodiment of inevitability. I became the force that no one could stop. Not because I was stronger, not because I was smarter, but because I accepted the cost. I accepted that to win, something had to be lost. You want to know why you failed? It's because you weren't ready to pay that price. You wanted to have it all. You wanted to hold on to your ideals, your dreams, your comforts, and still succeed. But the universe doesn't work that way. Success demands sacrifice. It demands loss. And those who can't accept that will always be brought back to their knees, right where they started. You stand here now, broken, lost, trying to figure out what went wrong. And I'm telling you, it was you. Your fear, your pride, your unwillingness to let go. That's what brought you back to me. And until you accept that, until you learn to face your failures, embrace them, you will never move forward. But I know most of you won't. Most of you are too weak, too afraid. You'll hear these words and you'll nod. You'll say you understand. But when the time comes to make the hard choice, you'll hesitate. You'll cling to your illusions of safety, of control. And that's why you'll fail again, and again, and again. But maybe, just maybe, one of you will listen. One of you will take these words and let them burn away everything that's holding you back. And you will rise. You will rise above the failure, above the pain, and become something greater. Not because I gave you the answer, but because you were willing to do what needed to be done. And when that happens, when you stand at the precipice, staring into the void, remember this: I am not your enemy. I am your reality. I am the inevitable consequence of everything you've tried to avoid. I am the price you must pay to find true power. You couldn't live with your own failure. And where did that bring you? Back to me. But maybe, just maybe, that's where you were meant to be all along. You still don't get it, do you? You think that life will reward you for good intentions, for trying your best. That if you just keep pushing, somehow things will work out. But the universe doesn't care about effort. It doesn't care about hope. It only cares about results. It's cold, indifferent, and relentless. You want a better life. You want success, strength, purpose. You have to be willing to give up the things you think matter. Because in the grand scheme of things, they don't. Not to the universe. Not to destiny. Look at yourself. You failed, and now you're drowning in self-pity, telling yourself it's unfair, that the odds were stacked against you. But did you really believe you were owed something? Just because you tried, because you struggled, the universe would bend to your will. How arrogant. The truth is, you were never strong enough to claim what you wanted. You weren't willing to pay the price it required. And now, you're here, back at square one, staring down the same fate you've been trying to outrun. I don't say this to mock you. I say it because I need you to understand. Failure is not your enemy. Failure is your greatest teacher. Every time you fall, it strips away the illusions you cling to. It shows you where you are weak, where you are vulnerable. And you hate it because it forces you to confront the parts of yourself you're too scared to admit exist. But those who truly rise, those who become unstoppable, are the ones who embrace their failure. They don't hide from it. They don't fear it. They learn from it. They let it break them, only to rebuild themselves stronger. You want power, real power? Then stop trying to control everything. Stop trying to avoid pain, to avoid loss. The most powerful people in the universe are the ones who've lost the most. Not because they're smarter, not because they're stronger, but because they were willing to pay the price. Every victory requires a sacrifice. And the bigger the victory, the greater the sacrifice. You haven't won because you haven't given enough. You're still holding on to something. Something that's keeping you from crossing that threshold. Find it and destroy it. You see, most people think they want success, but what they really want is comfort. They want the rewards without the risk. They want the glory without the pain. But the universe doesn't work like that. It never has. It never will. Everything worth having comes with a cost. And that cost is pain. It's loss. It's sacrifice. And until you understand that, until you're ready to accept that, you're doomed to repeat the same cycle over and over again. And every time, it will bring you right back here, to me. You think I'm the villain in your story. You think I'm the one standing in your way. But you're wrong. I'm not your enemy. I'm your reckoning. I'm the reality you've been trying to ignore. I am the inevitable truth that stands at the end of every one of your failures. And until you're ready to face me, until you're ready to embrace that truth, you will never move forward. You will stay trapped in your weakness, in your fear. But if you do face me, if you find the courage to stand tall in the face of your own failure, then, and only then, will you find the strength to become something greater.